Well, that post and that first line pretty much says what's been happening over the weekend. From the Khao English Facebook page, central provinces, including the capital Bangkok, have been warned of possible flooding. Well, apart from bringing you up to date with what's happening in the capital today and up north where they've had a lot more flooding, an appalling example of journalism over the weekend in one of the English-speaking type publications, and also the list of the friendliest places on earth. Wonder if Thailand's there. Before we go to the news, I neglected on Saturday to thank one of the super chats. I'm pretty careful about making sure I see them all, but I missed this one, and apologies to Robbo in the Bay for a very kind and generous support of the program. He said, I've enjoyed your video since day one, so I thought it was time to show my appreciation. Keep up the good work. So apologies, Robbo in the Bay. All I can say is there's a lot going on the Saturdays, the messages flicking past, trying to think of something intelligent to say and talking at the same time. It's all a bit of a challenge, so I did miss the super chat. Apologies to you, but thank you very much for your generosity. So let's go to what's happening in Bangkok first. And again, congratulations to Khao English for their sort of blow-to-blow descriptions of what's going on with the floods around Thailand and focusing on Bangkok. Now, they say in a move reflecting the government's belief that communities along the Chao Phraya River in 5 provinces and the Bangkok won't escape floodwater from the river in the next 7 days, the Social Security Minister ordered the setting up of 17 temporary flood shelters. So the 5 provinces they're keeping an eye on down the southern part of the Chao Phraya Delta. We've got Suphanburi, Ayutthaya, Chainat, Nakhon Pathom and Samut Prakan, which is, well, south of Bangkok. That takes us to this story in Thai PBS World. Nonthaburi's riverside communities brace for flooding. Where is Nonthaburi? Well, as you can see, the Chao Phraya going down the centre of that map. Nonthaburi just to the north of Bangkok, pretty close to the Chatuchak market, and indeed closer to Bangkok than Don Mueang Airport up there. And they say riverside residents in Nonthaburi are being advised to move their belongings to higher ground and to reinforce the sandbag flood walls surrounding their houses and communities. And the province, which is adjacent to Bangkok, could possibly experience flooding starting today, well that's yesterday, due to the rising water levels in the Chao Phraya River. And then it goes through a whole lot of irrigation reporting, and it finishes by saying this will contribute to further a rise of the level of water in the Chao Phraya River by up to 70 centimetres, according to an urgent announcement issued by Nonthaburi's provincial governor. So this is really referring to the communities directly near the banks of the Chao Phraya River that need to be on alert. Let's go to the nation. NationThailand.com, Bangkok and 10 other provinces get warning to be on flood alert. And a flood warning's been issued to Bangkok and 10 provinces in the central region amid increased release of water from the Chao Phraya Dam. So a few extra provinces to add here. This list says Uthai Thani, Chainat, Singpuri, Angthong, Suphanburi, Ayutthaya, Lopburi, Pathum Thani, Nonthaburi and Samut Prakan, as well as Bangkok. And the departments received information from the Royal Irrigation Department indicating that Upper Thailand is experiencing unstable weather with thunderstorms, strong winds and heavy rainfall in some areas, including the northern and central regions, as well as Bangkok. Just very quickly checking with Venture Sky, it looks like most of the north and central Thailand are fairly free of rain today, just projecting forward to 10 o'clock tonight. Again, it doesn't look like there is a lot of rain expected up in either the north, the northeast, central Thailand or around Bangkok. And the article in Nation Thailand says if the water level in the upper regions rises and results in increased water flow through the Chao Phraya Dam, further updates will be provided periodically. So more rains late last week than over the weekend up in the north of Thailand, causing mayhem up in Chiang Mai. We'll get to that in a moment, but they will eventually make their way down south towards Bangkok as well. Now, this is despite last week's announcement The Bangkok Post, Bangkok safe from floods, according to the Prime Minister. And she said for those concerned about potential flooding in Bangkok, there's no need to worry. Bangkok will not be flooded. So never a good idea to make predictions about the weather, particularly in Thailand and particularly during the wet season, where these tropical storms can emerge out of nowhere. Now, just if you're interested, I'm glad to report we've got a sparkling sunny day down here in Phang. There's no wind, just a glorious day. So we're doing a lot better off than other parts of Thailand at the moment. Now, up to Chiang Mai, where it has been horrendous. This is the latest. Well done to the Facebook page Chiang Mai News in English. They've got some excellent updates for people living up there. It says, due to the impact of severe flooding, certain areas of Chiang Mai are experiencing interruptions in water production and supply. So this is referring specifically to water supply, which of course is critical, but the floods are affecting obviously the water supply. And then it's got a list that was compiled last night around 7 p.m. of some of the areas which are severely affected with no or very low water flow are going down there through the yellow and the green to moderately affected. And then we move into the flooded areas. Obviously, the red is the worst affected, yellow moderately affected, and green less affected. People up in the area will be able to interpret that map better than those of us that are not familiar with that. And they also say, here's a flood update, and this was at 10 past 12 last night. And it says the water level of the Ping River at the Sapan Narawat station is at 4.28 metres, continuing to go down by 3 to 4 centimetres per hour. And they say they expect to be out of the red zone by this morning. So the latest situation there up north around Chiang Mai, I imagine some of the areas just south of Chiang Mai heavily affected as well. Some great video footage there too from Associated Press. Well, thanks for dropping in on our Monday TNT. Over the years, I suppose we've tried to position ourselves as somewhat of a media watch. It's a program I enjoy on Australian television, but the idea being that we sort of keep an eye on all the different media and see what the main stories are. Over the weekend, sadly, there was some appalling journalism by one of the English-speaking publications. Just going directly to it, Prime Minister Paetongtarn Shinawatra directed the Thai embassy in Tel Aviv to vigilantly monitor the security situation in Israel, provide updates to Thai nationals residing there and facilitate their evacuation if necessary. All good so far, sticking to facts, but then it goes off the rails. It says this directive came yesterday in response to rising tensions between Iran and warmongering Israel. Iran responded to missile attacks by the apartheid state after Israel claimed they were targeting Hezbollah officials. Now, terms like warmongering and apartheid state don't belong in a news publication. That's where a publication is veering into opinion. And if it wants to opine, that's okay, but they clearly need to say that they are sharing an opinion or an editorial and not just reporting the news. That is not reporting the news. That's colouring it with a whole lot of inflammatory descriptives. Now, news organisations anywhere in the world have got a critical responsibility when reporting sensitive geopolitical matters, especially this one. Now, I'm hoping that the person who's responsible for probably adding those words to an AI-generated story is shown the door today. They should never sit behind a news or editorial desk ever again. Now, to their credit, that news organisation has corrected this. And so the terms warmongering and apartheid have been removed from that sentence. But those words did sit there for 2 days before anybody decided that they really should do something about it. The worst problem for this publication is that there is now a subset of their readership who are now completely disenfranchised by this publication taking a side. Again, I'm not taking sides here. I mean, I'm not expressing an opinion. I'm just pointing to the appalling lack of journalistic integrity displayed by this article. A bit more news now as we head back up to Chiang Mai. Hope and heartbreak in rescue efforts for elephants in flooded Chiang Mai. And efforts to save elephants from their heavily flooded sanctuaries in Chiang Mai province continued. This was yesterday. And there have been reports of elephants dying in some areas. Vast areas of Chiang Mai, which is home to about 10 elephant sanctuaries, are under deep floodwater for the second time in the past 6 weeks. And it's feared this time could be worse than last month. And some owners of the elephant park said they could not move the jumbos in time because the flash floods came unexpectedly and their remote locations became inaccessible due to landslides and inundation. One Mahout, that's the elephant carer, said, "We have to race against time." Good news came for a blind and elderly jumbo, Pang Mare Boon, as she was safely rescued. But the Bangkok Post reporting floods drowned 2 elephants in northern Thailand. Rescue efforts continue, and 2 elephants have drowned from flooding at the Elephant Nature Park in Chiang Mai's Mae Tang district. And the park is home to 126 elephants, 2 of which have been confirmed dead after being swept away by the flood waters. And a lot of Thai social media over the weekend featuring stories about those 2 deceased elephants. And we do hope that they're able to get all the other elephants and other animals affected by the floods to some safe area. Also from Thai PBS World over the weekend, another survey. Bad news, we aren't the friendliest. Countless social media clips featuring Westerners saying they were duped by unpleasant portrayals of Thailand in their own countries apparently helped little, as Bangkok has been named just the 4th friendliest city in the world. Number 1 was Singapore, number 2 Sydney, and 3 Las Vegas. But Thai PBS opines, but we're the land of smiles, for crying out loud. That calls for a bit of entitlement, doesn't it? And the list was determined by Conde Nast Travelers, noting that while Thailand came 3rd in the friendliest countries, Bangkok was 4th. So aside from being behind Singapore, Sydney and Las Vegas, Bangkok appears to have been perceived as comparatively less warm than the rest of Thailand. So there's a good question to finish with today. Comparing Bangkok to the rest of Thailand, do you think the people in Bangkok are less friendly? I would say probably cities around the world are known to be less friendly than the suburbs and the outskirts and the other areas in their countries. So I'd be interested to hear what you say about the friendliness of Bangkok compared to the friendliness of Thais in other parts of Thailand. Look forward to reading your comments in the comments section. Thank you for watching today. Big thanks to 5-Star Marine at 5starmarinephuket.com and Beach House Thailand. We look forward to seeing you tomorrow.